that's a good one. That's a keeper. I just wrote a new joke. It's more of an idea for a joke. It's about how some people say Sinatra used to wear a toupee. Basically, that's all I have. But it's going to be a joke about that. I'm going to go up. See, I'm going to go up there and say that, like, okay, so some people say Frank wears a toupee, and then after that, I'll say something funny. So, writing jokes can be very stressful sometimes. Making people laugh. It's a burden I'm more than happy to take on, though. So, this is my desk where I work on all my jokes. I basically just, well, look, the way I write, I basically have a, let me show you that. Okay, I basically have a column, I have a line down the middle right there, that forms, when you put a line down the middle of a paper, it forms two columns. That's what it does when you have a line. And on one side I put, okay, I write Sinatra above one side. Sinatra, like Frank Sinatra. That goes on one side of the column. And then I write down, on that side I write down things about, stereotypes about his personality. Like he's like I write toupee, because a lot of people thought he had a toupee back in the day. He was wearing a rug. Jury's still out on that one though, trust me. I write down mafia. Let's see what else we got. Rat Pack. It's kind of like free association, just Sammy Davis. Women, because you love the women. Drinking, that's a big one. And whenever I play universities or colleges or, you know what I mean? Colleges. Whenever I play those places, I always open with the drinking jokes because that seems to go over really well there. I don't know. They just love to hear about Frank drinking. I don't know. Don't ask me what the kids think. Okay, so I got that column. I got the toupee and the mafia and the Rat Pack and drinking and other subjects. And then in the other column, I also write Sinatra above the other column, like that, Sinatra. And then I write down something I really admire about the man, like his, let's say his tenacity, hard-working, generous, liked black people. It wasn't. That's a dark period of Hollywood history that they didn't really like the black people back then. But Sinatra, he was a really, like I just wrote here, he's a really generous man, and he really did a lot for them. And I take like say he made damn good martinis, and he is a fantastic singer and a fantastic actor. So there's my two columns. So I take them. I do what I like to call combining jokes, where I take the joke that he wore a toupee and I draw a line to say generous, and then the joke you get there is that some people say that Sinatra wore a rug. Well, I say that So the joke that you have there is like, okay, we'll go like, some people say Sinatra wore a rug, but I like to say that Sinatra was generous. Well, you see, whenever I'm... This cigarette is spent. Look at it. I can't use that anymore. I don't actually smoke, by the way. I just like I like holding a cigarette in my mouth because it really helps me relax.
Did you used to smoke?
No, I've never smoked before. My parents wouldn't have allowed it, but I just like the way. I want to know if it feels between my lips because it's very relaxing. Because comedy can be a very stressful game. I can't even tell you the burden of making people laugh really gets to you sometimes. Well, let me just tell you about my influences a little. When I'm writing, I always have the classic movies channel on, the old movies, because well, every once in a while you get a Sinatra movie come up, and there's obviously not a Sinatra movie on. Right, he was in a lot of movies, a lot of musicals. He was phenomenal. He was sensational, but I don't quite know what this is. This isn't Sinatra. This is something else entirely. But you can still get inspiration from this, like Little Kid and Church. There's a joke in there somewhere. See, I don't know.
And that man there's only one man with that mustache.
Yeah. Who's that motherfucker? Yeah, I don't know what this is. So sometimes I'm watching that, and I get a lot of inspiration out of that, and other times I like to have it on Fox News.
So when was the first time you ever met Frank Sinatra?
Well, I never actually met Frank Sinatra per se. Like I said, I just, you bring up a really sore point here because, of course, I really wish I could have met him. I really wish that he could be at one of my shows, but unfortunately, the Lord saw fit to take him from us in the year 1998. But I feel that one of these days, after I'm long dead, after we're all long dead, I'll be playing a show for Frank in heaven, and he won't disapprove. But yeah, I've never met him. I was still pretty young when he died. I was,
Did you ever go to his
No, I was living in Iowa at the time. Basically, those are my inspirations. The television, you can find a lot of inspiration from the television. The cigarettes. I like to pretend to inhale really good. What the fuck was that? Fucking neighbor's dog. Can't fucking call and complain about them. So yeah, the drags that I pretend to take from my cigarette are really, I don't know, I find it really helps to set the atmosphere. And also this picture. Well, look, when Sinatra first invented comedy, people said he was fucking nuts. They said, Frank, nobody's gonna do this. Nobody's gonna wanna crack jokes about each other. That's what rude people do. Nobody's gonna want to put people down. What are you thinking? But Frank had them taken care of.
So what this all meant for Frank Sinatra Jr. was that Frank Sinatra Jr. was a baby when Frank Sinatra had his first roast. And on that roast, Frank Sinatra said that he had viciously beat his son, Frank Sinatra Jr., with a hanger, a wire hanger. It was funny at the roast, but it was all true.